Oh, what's going on, Tanimals? Yet another special edition of the Tanndemonium Sports Show. I don't know, Jackson. Can we still call this show the Tanndemonium Sports Show? Are we allowed? I mean, you're number two in the company. Are we still allowed to
Probably
call
not.
this? No. All right. Well, we're gonna have to. You came up with a really good idea off air.
That's flattering. You calling me number two in the company. That's really
We
flattering.
will call him
I
number
appreciate that.
two. But so this is an op-ed. This is another op-ed episode. And what's funny, we were gonna wait until next week, our regularly scheduled recording day, but J Law gave his blessing. He was like, you know what? We're ironing this out tonight. So now,
No sense in waiting.
yeah, no sense in letting it sit there and letting folks think that, well, I got off scot-free with that one. No. I'm gonna share my screen here. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen here. And are you seeing it there, J Law? On the Vendetta?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah. And that should be what's up there now. So as of 16 hours ago, an individual that writes for Vendetta Sports Media, Gavin Daly, who I don't even know. The only bit of interaction that I had with Gavin Daly was Gavin Daly sending a message to the two of us. I woke up to a message basically talking about the little snafu in the our last official episode video. And I got the same, message from Trey, and Trey said it's cool, don't worry about it. It's already out there. It's not that big of a deal. Cool, no problem. Mm-hmm. And I was at first rolling my eyes, J Law, because it's like, how are you going to sit there and tell me something's wrong? You're not telling me where you're picking it up at. Is it the video side? Is it the audio side? Who knows? But then I saw this. That Bryan Tann is apparently not heeding his own advice. And of course, and honestly, J Law, I'm going to call it the way I'm seeing it right now. This is sour grapes because I called folks out. Bottom line, somebody feels like they've got a foothold into the Tanndemonium vehicle, as they say. Because so here's the deal. For those that don't know, I did an op-ed last month when Major League Baseball finally decided that they were going to recognize Negro League's records and Negro League stats, so that now there's no need for there to be the Negro Leagues and the Major League Baseball. It is just Major League Baseball. And no Vendetta Sports Media writer wrote a thing about it. Behind the scenes, the opportunity was put out there and nobody took it up. And I was pissed. So I decided to reach out. I took the initiative. I put my money where my mouth was, Jackson Law. And I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. I put my money where my mouth is, and I reached out to one individual, Mr. Sean Gibson, who was gracious enough to join us yesterday. That episode has been updated, uploaded. It's there. You can go to vendettasportsmedia.com, go to the Vendetta Sports Media YouTube channel. You can go to the Tanndemonium Sports Show Twitter feed to check out that full-length interview. And we will be doing some edits so that you'll be able to get clips of the episode. Thank you so much again to Sean Gibson for agreeing to sit down with us. And we have one more big-time interview in the works on this topic. I reached out to two people, Jackson Law, for a particular reason. Since nobody covered this monumentous event, I figured I would do it twice. Well, technically 3 times. One time to talk about how no one else did it with an interview, and then hopefully a second interview. Fingers crossed on that. We'll keep you updated on that. But Gavin had made the choice. Well, he's gonna He's going to try to make something of himself, get himself out there on my name, on this show's name, on Jackson Law's name. Nah, bruh. Nah. I'm going to give you your 5 seconds of fame. I'm going to give you your 5 seconds. And then after this, I'm done with you. Completely done. Because, see, here's the bottom line. I don't do this whole little pot shot, well, I do. I'm not going to lie. I do. But I don't play games either. If I come out and I say what I'm thinking, it's because there's a reason. I'm not going to sit here and try to call people out just for the sake of calling people out and thinking that's going to get views toward me. I don't roll that way. If I call you out, I call you out because I feel there's a need to. This cat, he's trying to call out to make a name. And the thing is, it wouldn't even bother me if it wasn't so ridiculous. And the fact of the matter is, you screwed up, Gavin. You screwed up. And right about now, and I don't care how long it takes, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to refute every little thing that you put in your little piece. And after that, I'm done with you. Period. Because, see, he poked the bear, J-Law. I came into Vendetta Sports Media. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to give my opinion on sports. That's all I wanted, to just be a talking. This cat wants to now, he thinks this is World Wrestling Entertainment, and he's going to try to be cool behind the scenes, but wants to do some kayfabe and do some starting. Bruh, I ain't the one. And you know what, J-Law? I told my wife this when I told her what was what. Because I did some cursing out. But you know what? I'm going to keep my language completely and utterly PG. Why? Because I'm a classy guy. So, and I'm not even going to bother going to do the share, blah, blah, blah. So, apparently I need to look at myself in the mirror, Jackson. Well, matter of fact, there, I'll share it. You know, I don't need to be selfish. I don't need to be stingy. I'll let everybody see what I'm looking at here. So apparently it's time for Bryan to look himself in the mirror. At least he spelled my name right, because if he had spelled my name wrong, it'd be even worse. To heed my own advice. He says this because with the same vigor, where was my vigor when the Boston Bruins announced that they will be retiring Willie O'Ree's jersey? You know what? I'm going to switch this around because you guys see my... So, jersey retirement. An entire league that was kept separate due to segregation. Which is more important? A jersey. Now, is Willie O'Ree's jersey going to be all throughout the NHL? I don't know. I do not know this. Maybe this is something that, yeah, I would love to look out for. I would love to look into. I want to know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look 5 minutes. Let's see here. Blah. I've actually pulled up. Go ahead, because I pulled up his.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this, and it's like, obviously don't want to downgrade Willie O'Ree, who he was. He's the first African American in the NHL, rightfully deserving. He's a Hall of Famer. Probably deserved to have his jersey retired a long time ago.
Exactly.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with Willie O'Ree.
No, it doesn't. Here's the thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this.
Okay.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this is how I understood your op-ed that you did.
Mm-hmm.
You were angry because there was ample opportunity to write about correcting the wrongs of the past, integrating the stats of the segregated leagues to be officially recognized in the MLB stat books. And much like how we talked about with Mr. Gibson, it's no longer white and black. It's one baseball league. And that's how it's going to be viewed. Not taking away the history of it, of course, because we have to understand that happened.
Right.
But from here on out, baseball's one.
Right.
It's one. That was a huge step.
Yes.
Now, the reason why Now, that was a big deal. I saw that everywhere. When that came down, everybody was tweeting about it. There were stories about it everywhere. And your anger was that us as a sports news outlet did not cover it.
Yes, that was
Gavin
exactly
openly
my anger.
admits that he covered. Gavin admits that he covered it.
Yes,
That he covered the Willie O. Reed in a separate article.
Yep, I just pulled it up. Matter of fact,
So
I'll share my screen again. Go ahead, keep up your point. I'm going to share it on screen here.
So yeah, I was just going to keep saying that the fervor that you had, the anger that you had, was simply because it's not that you're like, although you are like, finally, like, yes, it's about time baseball did this. Your anger was more at the people on the site. It's not, but this is covered here.
Yes.
So that fervor, it's not there. It's not the same thing.
It's not even close to the same thing. Not even close to the
because
same
your
thing.
Your anger was directed towards at the baseball writers who missed out on an opportunity to write about a significant part of baseball history.
Exactly.
Gavin, with a keen eye, because he's one of our few NHL writers, follows a lot of NHL guys, gets to see it. Now, I did some digging. The news dropped the day that we recorded our normal show. Okay?
On that very
ESPN
day.
did a story about it when I looked it up, because that's on that very day, but I did not see it anywhere on their Twitter page.
Okay. Neither did I.
The only other major news outlet, when I searched Twitter, when you type in Willie O'Ree's name on Twitter, the only article that came up from a major news source was CNN. But you know what was also happening? CNN was a lot more occupied with the aftermath of what happened in the Capitol and the impeachment of Trump. That was the main news story.
Yep.
ESPN was more concerned with the aftermath of the national championship that was on Monday and LeBron's three-pointer that he made when he shot it and turned around and looked at the bench before it went in. That was obviously the thing that ESPN wanted to focus on.
Not to
so
mention
if the anger about not covering it and not talking about it, no, I'm just saying that if you're going to put blame on anybody for not covering that, it's got to be ESPN, because I don't follow hockey religiously like I do the other sports.
Same here.
The other major sports in the United States.
And that's the one thing that we said when we first started doing this show. That's the same thing. We're covering what we know. Will we talk hockey? Sure. When the season's going on. But I guarantee you,
it just started.
It just started yesterday.
And I can't tell you, I'm not versed enough in the NHL to be like, oh, this was a great offseason move. That's a great prospect that was drafted. Hey, Bryan, what do you think about this trade between Team X and Team Y? You know, what are the lineups that they're going to run?
They got
you know,
screwed. Yeah. So
see, I don't know. Like if we were to just start talking about hockey, I'll be like, yes, indeed, Bryan, that was the score of the game. The other team lost because they didn't score enough, and the other team won because they scored more goals.
You know, it looks like the other team's goalie had a better game.
A commentary.
Right. And the thing is,
I would be the Booger McFarlane of hockey.
Wow. He said the Booger McFarlane. Now I'm going into now. So I'm going to read on. I'm going to read a little bit more of this. So imagine my surprise when I tuned into this week's show and hear nothing, because that's the way I read it in his voice. In regards to Willie O'Ree or his jersey retirement. Instead, I hear multiple times about a not so good Steelers losing to the Browns. Which is more important, a bad team who are lucky to be 11-0 losing at the first postseason hurdle, or the recognition of a pioneer who paved the way for hockey players of color? I know what I'm choosing. All right, Gavin. So here's an idea. It just happened as we were recording the show. When do you think we record the show, Gavin? When? This came out, on Tuesday, as we were recording the show. Here's how we do the show, for those that don't know, Gavin. We do the show on Tuesday, and then it gets edited on Wednesday, released on Wednesday. That's how it works. If we were doing the show live, I would have Christian all over everything sports while we're doing the show live. So that way, if something like that would happen, I would know to bring it up. And you know what? And so,
again, unless, sorry, we're the Zoom calls kind of synced really weird, so we got a lot of stuttering going on. But I was just going to say that again, to my previous point, if we have Christian, our intern / producer, if he's on Twitter actively searching for sports stories, he would not had seen that story unless he specifically was looking up about the Boston Bruins and what they tweeted about.
Right. And the thing is, okay, and all right, so Willie O'Ree was the hockey equivalent of Jackie Robinson, who, if memory serves, was name dropped by Bryan in his op-ed. Okay, but you know something? I'm sorry, but baseball being integrated is a little bit more important of a story than hockey being integrated, because hockey, as it stands, is primarily Canadian and Russian. Yes, America does have a big time hockey thing now, but America hasn't been huge. America in hockey, if you look at people know more about what's going on in football, baseball, and basketball. Hockey is always number 4. Always has been, always will be. I love the game of hockey, but you know what? I don't follow it like I follow the other sports.
Me too.
And the thing is,
yeah, and honest to God, outside of my wife's aunt and uncle, who are big Nashville Predators fans, unless you go to a city, unless you go to a market that has a team, you don't see anything.
Right. Now in Pittsburgh, the only reason why we have anything,
bumper sticker, t-shirt.
And in Pittsburgh, of course, Pittsburgh is a hockey town. Yeah, because we have the Penguins. And usually especially we get situations where the Steelers have let us down, so now it's the Penguins. And the Penguins have won a Stanley Cup more recently than the Steelers have won a Super Bowl. And now he wants to sit here. Now, this is where he finally name drops you, J-Law. Maybe Bryan and Jackson aren't NHL fans and didn't know what to say. Kind of like me with the MLB announcement. You know what? And that just goes to show how sad you are, Gavin. I'm sorry. You don't know what to say about Major League Baseball finally recognizing the Negro Leagues? You don't know?
We didn't know what to say.
What the hell do you mean you don't know what to say? How about, hey, this is awesome. It's great to know that there's finally no more segregation in the American pastime. How about that? Just like I'll say, you know what? I think it's great that Willie O'Ree has getting his jersey retired with the Bruins. I'm glad to see that the man who was essentially laid the groundwork for guys like George LaRocque or Grant Fuhr is finally being recognized. Well, he's already been recognized anyway because he's in the Hall of Fame. And I'm sorry, a jersey being retired is not on the same level of an entire league that only became a thing due to racism and segregation. It is not the same thing. It's not. And you know what? Considering the fact that hockey season just started yesterday, how do you know that maybe we wouldn't bring up Willie O'Ree in the recording of next week's show? You don't. Because the bottom line is you decided that you wanted to get yourself known on my name. That's what the bottom line is. That's what the bottom line is. You figured, I got him now, and you just made yourself look stupid. Stupid. And you know what? I think it's amazing that Vendetta Sports Media is getting a growing hockey culture. That is amazing. I love it. I want every aspect of Vendetta Sports Media to grow and grow and grow, because it was growing just fine long before Bryan Tann showed up, and it'll be growing long after I'm gone. Because if I know Trey as well as I think I do, and I know that I do, he's not going to let it stop. However, A jersey being retired is not the same thing. And then at first I was cool-ish, but you had to bring Jackson into this too. And that's just lame. That's lame of you. The show has my name on it. You want to come after anything that deals with the show? Fine, come after me. I'll be like that college football coach. You leave your kids alone. Come to me. I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Yeah,
I'm 40.
Yeah, I'm 40. But Mo, my thing is this: if you want to come at me about something, you can come to me. But see, now you want to take this public because you want to get your name somewhere. And I know that someone can say, "Oh, well, you could have just said something to us instead of taking it public." Yeah, I could have. But you know why I didn't? Because Trey gave every baseball writer with Vendetta Sports Media the opportunity to pick up the story, and nobody did. Nobody. And that's why I said what I said. And you know what? I went to Trey and I went to Jackson and I said, do you guys have a problem with me doing this? They said no. So I did it. Period. And you know what? And there's one other thing too. And I know that you want to get in on this, but I'm going to get in on this especially. Speaking of the Vendetta chat. Hold on, wait. So the resources are there. I can't speak for Andrew. I know I received no invitation from neither Jackson or Bryan to come on the show because I don't invite people on the show. I haven't invited anybody from Vendetta Sports Media on this show. Why? Because this show is still brand new. And when a brand new show is working on its identity, you don't sully the waters of that identity by bringing in people, because then it shows viewers that your show cannot stand on its own 2 feet. You have to bring in everybody to help your show grow. And that's not what we're doing. Having Sean Gibson on here, completely different story. That is showing that the show is growing. Is growing.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So, with that being said, no, I put nothing in any chat inviting you or Andrew on this show. Why? Because I have no reason to. None. You okay with that? Or do I need to have your permission? Or I didn't know that you were the program director of Vendetta Sports Media, so I have to run things by you. Or otherwise, you're going to get whiny and go and write your own little piece about it, keyboard warrior. And then he goes, speaking of the Vendetta chat, neither Jackson Law or Bryan Tann are in the NHL one. No, because we don't cover the NHL. We cover NFL, MLB, and NBA. That's what we cover. Oh, speaking of the Vendetta chat, neither Jackson or Bryan are in the NHL one, yet they're the hosts of a sports show. I heard nothing but NFL football in the last one and have never heard either talk about soccer or hockey in any past episodes. If they have and I've missed it, I'll stand corrected and apologize. You know what? I would tell you what you can do with your apology, but I'm trying to remain professional. How about them apples? I don't need your apology, nor do I want it. And you know something? I can have a sports show and not talk soccer or hockey. You want to know how I can have a sports show without talking soccer or hockey? Because it's my damn show. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. Whatever I want. So your idea of a sports show,
Trey, I know you're
good.
Yeah, Trey, I know you're probably watching this, Trey, because Trey legitimately does try to watch everything. Trey legitimately does love the Tanndemonium Sports Show. He has told us that numerous times. He has told me in private and then to you also that he loves the show. But Trey, if we can no longer be called the Tanndemonium Sports Show because we do not cover water polo or cricket,
or rugby,
then neither
or tennis
can Vendetta Sports Media neither can Vendetta Sports Media be called Vendetta Sports Media. We
No,
must simply be Vendetta
Vendetta
Media,
Media. Yeah,
because we do not cover beach volleyball. We do not cover croquet. We do not
I'm
cover
pretty sure we're not covering
polo.
tape. We're not covering table tennis. What about where does it end? What about the slap
No.
box? What about the slap boxing championships?
Shuffleboard.
Oh, there you go. Tiddlywinks. What about Jackson Law? Now, what about strongman powerlifting? Does that work? Can we do that? What do you think? Maybe we
I
should cover
mean,
those too.
I mean, if you want to have like a 20-hour podcast, we can go sport by sport every
This
day.
is not ESPN the Ocho. Okay. Guess what? ESPN ended up coming up with ESPN2 and various other ESPNs for sports that ESPN itself were not covering. So I guess maybe we should do that. Or maybe, just maybe, you should get on your happy horse and maybe start bringing in some people to cover these other things. Because I'm sorry, I don't know anything about tennis. I'm not going to cover tennis and give this show a look and a stink of having no knowledge because I'm trying to talk about something I don't know. I will talk football because I know football. I will talk baseball because I know the game of baseball. I will talk basketball because I was very well versed in the game of basketball and I'm getting back into the game of basketball. But I'm sorry if I don't talk hockey or soccer or tennis or rugby or cricket. And I'm sorry, rugby and cricket, Americans do not follow rugby and cricket, not with the fervor that they do in Europe. We start getting a strong European presence, then I'm sure we will, but not on the Tanndemonium Sports Show. Why? Because I don't follow those. Do better, Bryan. Do better. You know what, Gavin? Here's an idea. Here's an idea. You stick to your lane, I'll stick to mine. Because I don't talk about news that broke while I was in the middle of recording my show. Because I'm giving more attention to something that it wasn't even just a sports thing. All right. It was also a major part of the civil rights movement. Gavin. Baseball being integrated was huge in civil rights. When Jackie Robinson showed up for the Brooklyn Nets opening day, that told black people we arrived in America's pastime. We belong everywhere in this country, in a country that we helped build for free. In a game that we were damn good at, that men like the great Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, Monty Irvin, Jackie Robinson, the list goes on. They were the best at what they did, and they were put into a segregated league because they were being told you're less than human. And baseball itself was at the forefront of it. So when that game finally makes the decision to fully integrate in every way, shape, and form, so that it's not just Negro leagues and Major League Baseball, to give it the recognition it has deserved. Not just with lip service. Yeah, going into the Baseball Hall of Fame is a huge deal, but the records were still separate. Now they're not anymore. That's a little bit more important. So I'm going to tell you this, Gavin. I'm done with you as of now. Go ahead, J-Law.
Yeah, and just to keep what you were going to say about why the integration is so big, and I don't want to spoil anything that Sean did in our interview, which if you haven't watched it yet, whoever's viewing this, you need to go watch it and then come back. But Sean talks about how his great granddad Josh, he's got one of the highest, if not the highest batting average. He probably sets a record because those stats are going to stand now. And and what was it, like
441?
440. Yeah, 441. That'd be the highest. Yeah, the highest batting average of anyone in MLB history.
Yes. That's a huge deal.
And that's why it's important. That's why what happened was so important, and why it's a big deal, and why the news cycle stopped to cover it. Right. And again, this isn't us saying that Willie Ree, what he did and who he is. Yeah, Willie O'Ree, what he did, who he is not important, because he is very important in the story of the civil rights movement and us as a country finally pushing towards equality. Mm-hmm. But like you said, a jersey retirement, something that probably should have been done a long time ago, because usually Hall of Famers get their jerseys retired. Even some non-Hall of Famers get their jerseys retired a little bit after they retire, just because of who they are and what they meant to that city and the culture for whatever sports team they were playing for. It just, that day, there was something big happening in this country and still going on. And unfortunately, it got overshadowed by every major news outlet. Now, ESPN talking about LeBron's three-pointer, that's on ESPN. But we can't speak for ESPN.
No, we can only speak for us. And the bottom line is, and this is something else, he's sitting there trying to make it seem as though we don't sort of lean toward some of the Vendetta sports media articles. At least that seems to be what he's sort of hinting at, because we didn't invite anyone on the show.
That's just wrong information.
Yeah, like, because it says here,
because we do that. We actively.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Keep going, Brian.
No,
I'm just saying, there have been plenty of times in the past. If we ever miss one, it's completely unintentional, and it's because we're in the movement of it. We look at what's being written at Vendetta, what is hot coming into there, because normally what Vendetta is writing about is hot topics. Yes. You got the playoffs going on right now. You have major trades happening in the NBA. So that's like stuff we got to talk about. That's stuff what people are writing about. That's stuff that we got to talk about. And a lot of times there's angles that we bring them in there. We can't help that if the writers of Vendetta for a full week, because this happens from time to time, the writers don't get their butts in gear and write something good. We can't help that if it's basic cookie cutter crap that comes out of their mouths sometimes.
And I mean,
and so we have to take those angles.
Right. And you know what? It happens sometimes. I, as a writer myself, because I am not a sports writer, I'm a fiction writer. So I understand that sometimes when it comes to writing things, it gets in the way, and I get it. And when we talked about the playoffs, could I have picked some Vendetta articles on it? Yeah, I could have. But I was going by, number one, the
playoffs write themselves. Like, that's the thing. That's such a big event that you don't need articles. You've got your own two eyes. We do a podcast, but we analyze and we talk about it on our podcast.
Right.
That's what we do.
Yes. This is analysis and opinion. Analysis and opinion. So as that said, Gavin, I've given Gavin Daly way more time than he deserved. Way more time than he deserved. For a couple of minute read, we've given him almost an hour. We've given him almost a full show. And honestly, this will probably be the last time I do it. Because you know what? It ain't worth it. You want to come at me with something that's some fact? That, like, the only reason why I even remotely gave you this little bit of time is because you got on my damn nerves. Next time, I'm just going to ignore you until I probably get pissed off, and then I decide to eviscerate you again. But no, Keep my name out your mouth. Keep the spelling of my name away from your fingers. Keep Jackson Law's name out your mouth. Keep the spelling of his name off your fingers. Because you know what? You're off. You're wrong. And I'll tell you something right now. Just to show how petty I can be, if I do get it in my mind that, yeah, I want to bring on a hockey expert to talk some hockey, guess what? It won't be you. It won't. Because you know what? You burnt this bridge. You wanted to make a name for yourself at my expense. You got an hour and you're done. Period. Now you might want to come clap back or whatever. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. Because at this point, you're not worth my time. Not my time, not my energy, not my.
No, I'm too busy and too tired with a multitude of other things, with my day job, with my writing that I do, the YouTubes, the podcasts. I got a 9-month-old son, 10-month-old now, 10-month-old son that I'm helping take care of.
Mm-hmm.
I am too tired and I ain't got time to deal with this. So this is the last that I'm saying of it. I don't care if he says anything in the chat, if other people say anything in the chat. It's not worth my time getting into, because I've got sports to watch, things to write, stuff to record, child to take care of, and then guess what? I gotta wake up in the morning so I can
and do it all over
earn
again.
a living so that way I can support my family.
Yep, same here. Between this show, another show that I do, my own writing, my education, my day job, and everything else, I ain't got time to put towards you anymore. You're done. You're done like dinner. And you know what? Just to show you, to spite you, we're actually going to give some time to Mr. Willie O'Ree. Why should I ignore Willie O'Ree just because you're a jerk? We are going to discuss Willie O'Ree because you know something? That would have been discussion that we would have been ended up having on the next show, because we will have to talk some NHL. And no, we're not talking NHL because, oh, you decided to say something. No. NHL season hadn't started yet. Period. So you know what, Gavin? You're done. We're done with you. And if you want to come along and, clear this, clear that, and blah, 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 you know what? I might not even give you that much time. Because no. You want to try to make a name for yourself at my expense. I'm trying to build this show from a ground up to find its identity. And now I'm wasting an hour of my time clapping back at you because you think that you're something special. Well, congratulations. You got your few moments and now you're done. With that being said, this is another Tanndemonium op-ed. Like, share, subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us in the audio version, please like, share, and subscribe. Pass it around to your friends. Please make sure, if you're on Twitter or any form of social media, hashtag JG20MVP. Let's get the MLB MVP award named after the home run master, Mr. Josh Gibson. Go to joshgibson.org and sign the petition. Let Major League Baseball know that award needs to be named after Josh Gibson. And we'll see you guys at our regularly scheduled time, which will be next Wednesdays when the episode will release here on Vendetta Sports Media. He's Jackson Law. I'm Bryan Tann. And we'll talk to you next week.